What's important to note is that as we craft this opportunity, a number of people have actually pointed out that Namibia has a unique positioning in the sense that we're not really at the same disadvantage that many African countries have been when they crafted in terms of our policy environment, in terms of our education, in skills in the particular sector, and also in terms of infrastructure. So we've got a small base to start from, or we've got a good base to start from. So as we craft this local content and identify the strategies that will make the right impact, what our objective should be in developing a sustainable pool of entrepreneurs that have long-term and longevity in how they run their businesses. So ours should not be a focus of short-term gain, but a focus of making sure that the entrepreneurs that get supported are sustainably taken through a value chain and increase of business opportunity that really establish them long-term. And I would like to reference some of the work we've done as BFS. In the mining sector, for example, and many actually sectors in the country, we've created over the past 15 years a business case for funding local content and creating entrepreneurs that are not just delivering finished goods and services, but actually creating value in production capacity and becoming sector champions in the specific sectors they make. And I believe we can do it also in the oil and gas industry. If you look at the mining sector in Namibia and you look at the educational base of the managers across the mining sector, you'll see a number of CEOs at mines, mining managers, finance, procurement, in all disciplines to run a proper mine, actually fully drawn from Namibia. And I believe from the previous conversations that was also held, and we've heard from Ms. Moremi from the Petrol Fund, that there's adequate capacity created over the past 20 years. And that's really the one thing I want to applaud the government, that we're able to consistently invest in education. If you look at the oil and gas industry and what we've invested over the past few years, we've been supporting engineers and relevant skills without having an oil and gas industry. And that creates a base for actually now building on an applied basis and basically taking those academic skills and say, how do you propel them and make sure that they actually become applied operators in the industry? But as was also mentioned, local content doesn't exist without financing. And I believe that it is important for public sector pioneered funding, for industry pioneered funding to get into the space of ensuring that we're actually creating the local content operators that are possible. What's important to mitigate is the ability of off-takers to provide contracts that make sense, that enable financing. One of the presenters spoke about the risk of awarding work to the lowest bidder. And other presenters spoke about the issue of unemployment. I think we've got a lot of youth unemployment, professionally trained people that don't have meaningful use of their qualification. And that obviously brings a level of desperation in the market. As opportunities open up, people will be forced to bid and to try and secure work. And if we are to develop this industry responsibly and ensure an inclusive development, we have to make sure that off-takers come to the table sensibly and provide the necessary opportunities to create sustainable businesses. I want to connect to what Esther said, and in fact our institution has been having conversation over the past few years, and just assure the Namibian entrepreneurs that the product ranges that are also offered with the Afri-Exim Bank, and our collaboration is something that we've been working on for a while, are actually offered through BFS, through Namibia Fund. We are able to support local suppliers, be it now at the back of procurement order or working contract, to get access to yellow goods. We have in the industry finance drillers already. Whether it's whatever type of yellow good equipment that is required, we've actually funded that. We've had an exposure of almost $2 billion Namibian dollars in the market, all provided to local SMEs in the market. So in terms of the considerations that need to be made, what's really important is to make sure that the right level of funding is provided to ensure that sustainable businesses are built. So funding need to be channeled not just from a private capital perspective, but also from a public perspective. And I'm happy to see the Deputy Minister of Mines and Energy, who's very aware of the work that we do as well in our call to ensure that public sector support comes to the table.